Alright, it looks like we are live. Um, I didn't think I'd be making a video like this anytime soon. Hink left r slash getting bigger, or at least is taking a hiatus from it. And basically, it boils down to, I guess, toxicity on r slash getting bigger. And this is something we need to talk about and figure out how to go about this, because I created r slash getting bigger. The last thing I want it to be is a toxic place. So I'm hoping that we can have a bit of a constructive conversation about how we can make this better. But one of Hank's contingents, or sticking points, was that we don't get any engagement on there anymore. And the best way to put it is that we'll get 45,000 views on an article that we write, but we would only get 5 upvotes. And I don't really care. I do most of this stuff for myself, and that's why upvotes and stuff don't really impact me. But what it does do is give us direction. So if I make a stupid post and it gets the same votes as the things that are actually very useful, how am I supposed to know what direction to take? So from a pragmatic sense, just telling us what you guys want goes a long way. Let me keep up with chat. So, Jen Fiddick, remove the hater if you don't want to have constructive... Remove the haters if you don't want to have constructive criticism, just delete it. What's the problem? Okay, so there's a difference between constructive criticism and just hate, right? And for example, it comes down to tone. Hat Wolf, Hank quit. Back to the constructive criticism. A coach will give you constructive criticism. You know it's coming from the bottom of their heart, and they're just trying to see you improve. A random guy on Reddit saying that your black and white photos aren't good enough for proof and you're only trying to sell product is not constructive criticism. So that's the first thing when it comes to trying to figure out how the hell we can correct this tone issue. And guys, I get Reddit has been going downhill since Twitter exploded and all those trolls are coming over to Reddit. But if we want our community to be big and strong and healthy, we need to step up and try to figure out a way to keep the Reddit from collapsing in on itself. David, the cynics just need to go. Well, the problem right now, David, is that the only people really commenting are the veterans on r slash getting bigger, and then these new cynics or these skeptics or whatever. And I'm fine with skepticism. Everyone should have healthy skepticism. But it gets to a certain point where if all we're seeing is a bit of skepticism, it makes us less motivated to continue doing it. So Hank was saying that he would get nervous going on r slash getting bigger just because it's kind of a tense situation now. And I was like this a year and a half ago. For more... I had a controversy a year and a half ago where I was measuring wrong, okay? And I had much better reason to be afraid to go on Reddit to, get my ass kicked, proverbially speaking. Hank has done absolutely nothing wrong. His project pictures, his before and afters are almost flawless. The only thing I could really think of nitpicking is that some of his progress photos are with a tailor's tape. And that doesn't really change it more than 1/8 of an inch, right? So, it's really they're nitpicking because they are jealous of his success. And that's kind of the issue lately, is that there's so much animosity towards other people's success that it makes it hard for other people to share their success. Beach Slap. How long are you going to be streaming for? Just discussing drama for PE? Or PE questions welcome to? We might throw some in, but I just want to really get a good idea how to handle this. And that's why I wanted to bring it up to the community. Because it is kind of a big deal. I mean, for me, from a business perspective, if people don't want to interact with my community, then we got some issues. And then as from a ethical standpoint and my own moral standpoint, I created r slash getting bigger because A Joke for You had similar issues. That is the last thing I want to happen to r slash getting bigger. Gene, Hink was so triggered he will be back soon. I don't know, dude. We've been talking about this for a while, like couple months now. Like I've been complaining to him about like the lack of engagement on Reddit compared to YouTube, and it's not like my YouTube channel is doing all that great, but compared to the Reddit, I get, let's be real, at least 40,000 more views on Reddit in a day than I do YouTube. Yet YouTube has a much healthier ecosystem and much more engagement. So like, yeah. B Cage. You might have some people purposely trying to torpedo the forum. Now that was actually an issue back in the summer when a certain influencer tried to dox me. He was trying anything to discredit us because we didn't like him as a person and we didn't trust his product. So instead of, how would I say this? Instead of, making his product better and making his own content better, he just tried to make us look worse because that was easier. I don't know if that's the same thing that is happening now, but it's definitely an issue. That did happen in the past. David. Yeah, it really is a big deal. One of the top people don't want to be in it anymore. Sad when certain people can break someone's spirit. So it's not so much that Hink doesn't want to do this. Like, he researches more than I do, and he has so much more going on outside of penis enlargement. He is a PE sicko. The problem is that he doesn't want to interact with the thing that he helped create it because of what it became. So he's still going to be making a shit ton of content on YouTube. He's moving to his own subreddit a bit, just mainly for content submission, from my understanding. But for the most part, he doesn't want anything to do with Reddit. Beach Slap. I don't really understand why there's so much negativity. Even if it's a small but vocal group, I only feel appreciation towards you and Hink. You guys help so many people for free, and it's really sad. So, there's two parts to this question. Me and Hink are fully aware of how many people we impact daily. And that's the reason why I don't really care about upvotes and subscriber counts and everything like that, aside from just giving me direction for my stuff. We appreciate you guys immensely just for, being here with us. Now, on the other side of the same coin, that negativity has a few things. As we were talking about before with the influencer that will not be named, it is easier to tear something down than it is to build yourself up. So, it is quite easy to get jealous and attack someone rather than it is to, go through the gauntlet and come out the other side stronger. And let's be real, there's a bit of a mental health issue right now, particularly right after COVID lockdowns. Everyone's already on edge, and then we were all shoved into our houses for at least 6 weeks. Some of us were stuck in our houses for 18 months. That's going to do huge damage to most people's psyche. And you can end up down some weird rabbit holes, and you get in this weird state where about 2/3 of the population needs some kind of mental help, and they aren't getting it, so they're lashing out online. But yeah, it is really sad, and that's why we need to figure out a way to fix this, because I would rather be the solution rather than the getting away from the issue, if that makes sense. Stats. I had to delete Reddit myself. I'm not like Hink, who actively is posting and making content, even though I got fed up with the hate and trolls on Reddit. Yeah, and I don't even know if it's a r/getting bigger thing, because you can just see it on every main subreddit anymore. Like, there's just this big hole of negativity, and I'm not sure if it's, like I said, I think Twitter leaked and went into Reddit, and that's part of the issue. But to me, it's hard to put a finger on when exactly the change happened, but I knew something happened this summer that caused this shift in tone, and now it's just becoming kind of insurmountable. B Cage, much love to Hink. Brilliant guy. I love his material. Same to you, BD. Thank you. Currently hope you guys handle these trolls. I really only need from the two of you. So, that's the thing. I just lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys. I can handle the trolls just fine, and so can Hink. We're both adults. We're both used to it. It's just that Sometimes when you just wake up first thing in the morning and the first thing you see is someone trying to personally attack you, it drains on you. And like, we're both exceptionally busy, right? I'm running two companies. He is a renowned doctor. He is incredibly busy. We need to cut out the shit from our life from time to time. And right now, he thinks Reddit is worth cutting. So we need to figure out a way to make it worth his while again. DG, Hink is being too sensitive. Once you get online, you have to expect the worst from people. And sadly, you're kind of right, but at the same time, this is Hink and I are both kind of people pleasers. So like, it's not so much that we are offended that people are not appreciating us. It's more like, what can we do to prove to you that we're just trying to help you guys, right? And like, if you're constantly attacking us, like, all right, what is a better avenue for this? And Hink's decision is better avenue was leaving Getting Bigger for a bit. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out where we're at. Alright, Gene. Seeing Hink flex his arms and started to bang on you guys was pretty funny, though. Funnily enough, Hink actually has pretty skinny arms. They're only 14 inches around. I was shocked when he told me this. But yeah, he is a big-ass dude, just in general. Hulkster, the world is full of PE gurus, and that's why I don't want you guys to call me a PE guru, because it has that negative connotation that we're just making shit up. Hink and I spend so much time making sure that our stuff is research backed, right? At least in some sense. Hink spends way more time going through like the medical analysis. I take some liberties in my assessment. But at the end of the day, we're trying to provide as much scientifically sound research as possible. Python, thank you for liking the new video. That took about 3 days to edit, so we're trying to make it a 3-day turnaround time on videos. I'm trying to get 2 out a week from now to keep up with Hink. That's why he's kicking my ass on YouTube. More facing up to mental health. Appreciate that being brought up, says Ryan. Can't keep being swept up from under the rug. I suggest talking about this on the pod. Dude, so, like, getting bigger just attracts the most vulnerable men in society, right? Because let's say you're anxious about penis size, right? You're already going to have a tendency to have anxiety issues. Then, because of that, there's higher chances of bipolar. There's going to be people with severe trust issues, because let's say they were told they were small by their ex, and that's why they are now on r/getting bigger, because they were scored by someone they loved. And so they're going to have like these real tough trust issues. They're going to have these anxiety issues. And then if you're like me, you're going to have a bit of a temper issue because you have such a chip on your shoulder. So like, it's a very delicate situation in a lot of these guys' minds. I'm not saying everyone on r/getting bigger is like that, but I'm almost positive that the trolls on r/getting bigger are going to have some mental issues undiagnosed. DG, Joe Rogan gets attacked every day and he is the most popular podcaster. Okay, but Joe Rogan quit Twitter because of how often he was attacked, right? And like, I'm not a big fan of Joe Rogan. I can respect what he does, but at the same time, he is still human. He still sometimes needs a break from constant criticism, right? And it's kind of human nature. We focus a lot more on the negative than the positive, because when you focus on the negative a bit more, you get farther survival speaking. So like, if you're worried about food constantly, you're going to be hunting for food more often, therefore bringing in more food, right? So if you just focus on the positives, oh, this was a good catch, you're not going to make it that far. You're not going to make it the next day, right? So our brains are like kind of defaulting to negative most of the time, and it takes a lot of work to get past that, I guess, primal instinct. Okay, Airrock, you guys' material is really good in GB getting larger. You have more trolls. I feel it's part of the growth, especially online. 1% of trolls at 1,000 people in GB, or 1% of trolls at 100,000. So that's another issue, right? We don't have enough engagement from the people that do like us and do like what we do to actively drown out these trolls, right? So like we know how much you guys love us, but like when you go on Reddit and all you see is like, oh, you're measuring funny, or you're a fat ass, or something like that, you're like, okay, what am I even doing here if I'm just going to be berated the entire time? So one of the things that I hope gets across to you is just you don't even have to even like the video, and I understand a lot of you guys don't have burner accounts for Reddit, but get a burner account, start engaging. That's like the best way to help us get over this, is just talking to us, tell us what you guys want, tell us what you guys like about what we're doing, and that will go a long way. Let's see. Chad, you guys are awesome. The love you have for all you for from all of us should outweigh the ignorant haters. And it really should, right? It's just the only people that we've been seeing lately, particularly on Reddit, not YouTube. YouTube's a completely different beast. All right, I rarely have issues with YouTube comments, but with Reddit, it's just there's something about it right now where it's super negative, and like I trust me, I'll still get a bunch of positive comments on Reddit, but like Hink doesn't have the same hit squad that I do on Reddit, so like I'll have 5 to 10 people that will just follow me around and downvote everything I do. And again, I made enemies. I understand that. I don't care. But at the same time, we need to just, I guess the best way is to show a bit more appreciation to make up for the trolls, right? Gonna answer this super chat. Nebby, thank you for the 10 euros. I really wish you didn't. I appreciate it nonetheless. I appreciate all your work you guys do. Hink and Perv, you're doing God's work. Thanks for everything, and greetings from Germany. Yeah, again, we're all for the appreciation, guys, and we appreciate you so much. We wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for you guys. Now back to the order. Stats. Before I deleted Reddit, I started noticing a big increase of people fetish posting pics of their junk. Is this still the case? We have rules against it. The problem is they post while the mods are asleep. We have 1 or 2 mods in Europe right now, and that's when they're posting, is when the other 6 to 7 mods that are in the United States is asleep. So like it's very easy for them to, miss it. But we are working on it. Yeah, the fetish things is an issue though. Like, you don't know how many times I'm like look at my junk in this pump, right? And it's annoying. It's not productive, right? Faded. Are you accepting any more clients or coaching? Not at the moment. I am so goddamn busy. And I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't expect to be coaching next year just because of how much work it is, and then how much time I put into it. So like, I make a decent bit of money, but like, that money from coaching is gonna pale in comparison to what the other stuff is pulling in. And I'm just being completely transparent with you guys. Coaching was always going to be kind of a stopgap until I could actually do the projects I wanted to do. And now that things are maturing on my other business sides, there's not really a need for me to continue coaching. Let's see. Active income. Thank you for the appreciation. But it's okay if you don't appreciate it. Like, it's very easy to like take things for granted. And like, trust me, I do it all the time. I am practicing better appreciation with my wife, for example, because she does so much for me, and you just get used to it. But I do think a lot of people are going to notice how absent Hink actually is from the subreddit, because he is a gold mine of information. And once you guys notice the drop-off, and I'm assuming that most of you guys actually aren't even on the Reddit, because it is the YouTube, but at least the Reddit will notice his absence. David, I believe a lot of the trolls come from small dick problems. I don't think so. The problem is like, if we're talking about like the measurement trolls, they are probably coming from sites like LPSG, Large Penis Support Group, and like there is just threads that will estimate the sizes of porn stars. Like we're talking 1,000-page threads of people literally taking out pixel rulers, finding averages of women's hand sizes, and then trying to figure out how big these male porn stars are, and they will do anything they can to make them as small as possible. And there's a double-edged sword, right? You have guys that need to see that porn stars aren't as big as porn makes them out to be, but at the same time, they're stroking their own ego, saying, "Oh, Johnny Sims is only 7.5 inches." You know, like it's really stupid when you think about it, because like the difference between 7.5 and 8 inches, nothing really, in the grand scheme of things. But like once they start coming to or getting bigger, is when we start having issues, because like we're literally doing the exact measurements, and since they only consider like non-bone press erect length to be valid for whatever reason, they will tear us apart because some of us carry extra weight, and therefore the measurement is shit in their mind. So that's something we need to work on. It. We used to have a rule called limit size policing, and we kind of slacked off on it just a bit. We might have to pick that up a bit more. Let's make some fish tacos with them gills you have there. Don't take me seriously. I do need to get these guys a bigger tank. But yeah, my freshwater fish love me for no real good reason, see? My saltwater fish over there and downstairs hate me. Hide from me. I guess my downstairs don't hate me, but you know. Back to what we were talking about. Who is Hink? Asks Lute. Hink is my business partner. Hink has roughly the same amount of subscribers at Doc Hink on YouTube, I believe. Very good content, a little different than mine. Still mostly about men's health and penis enlargement. Hink has produced a bunch of content on par, if not better than my content on r/getting bigger. And now, since we've been having issues with trolls and negativity, he's taking a step back from r/getting bigger. And that's why we're having this live stream, is to discuss ways we can improve it. Gene, I just got vigor, which was expensive. Yeah, I'm sorry about the taxes on that. He lives in France. I really want to grab some Vitality stuff. Where can I get this? Right now it's in production, or more specifically, bottling. So it won't be for another 2 or 3 weeks. And it will be on LeviathanSups.com. That's another thing. Thanks. This is a tangent. People don't like the fact that we're using our platform to make money, even though we don't push our products all that much. Like, I think most of you guys know that I will spend maybe 30 seconds talking about both of my companies at the beginning and ends of my videos. People hate that. And like, if I'm just going to be completely transparent, we have a decent bit of people. We probably sell 1,000 units of Vigor a month right now, right? But in the grand scheme of things, that's only 1% of the subreddit, right? And since it's on Amazon, a lot of those people actually aren't going to be getting bigger subscribers, right? And that was like part of my plan, that the subreddit would kind of launch us on Amazon, and then the algorithm will take over and then spread it to people that aren't our followers. But 1% of people are buying our products on Getting Bigger with no real push, if you know what I mean. Like, there's no real advertising. And people don't like the fact that 1% of the group is, supporting us, which is really weird. And I don't know if it's like kind of like a jealousy thing, or like an ideological thing where they just don't think people should make money in a capitalist society, even though we're stuck living in one. But it's just one of those things, right? And Faded, thanks for the $2. I'm sorry that I disappointed with the coaching. I believe you're the one that asked about that. Question from B Cage, kind of side topic. Your latest video you do to gain an inch in 1 year, do you believe it's apples? It still applies, sorry. Whoever already developed their newbie games. Right now, yeah. So I'm just going to give you a bit of a sneak peek. I've already put on about at least 1/8 inch in the first week. And again, I already said that I lost maybe a bit of size from the baseline that I chose from, but I'm back up to like 8.3 to 8.4 just in a week of doing this stuff. So Not saying we're going to gain that much week after week after week, but like it is already proving to be very effective, even though I've been doing this for 10 years. But yeah, I will let you know more in a month. I think anyone can gain an inch in a year. It just comes down to dedication and a bit of luck, regardless of like skill level and how much time they put into it. I'm not going to try to pronounce that Slavic name, Nikok, but the amount of time and effort you guys put in for us is mind-blowing, and we are so grateful for it. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Robert, on your website, it'd be great to be able to have individual profiles that has before current goal size. So like we do have flare systems on gettingbigger.io. We still need to work on a few things. I do want to kind of make it like a profile like you're talking about. So like you'd be like a social media webpage just for your penis basically. But that's going to be down the line. And I'm going to try to integrate it with one of my other projects that I'm working on. A lot of that stuff is still going to be free, but like if I do like video content that's per pay, you know, it'll be integrated with that too. Nick Hawk, all your work is for free, no paywall, just slight profit from coaching and product. Where's the harm in that? Great question. It's not obligatory to buy. Valid point. And you have every right to charge for personal time. And again, that's what kind of drives me and Hink nuts, is that I make great I spend a lot of time making sure that my content is free first in some format before I monetize it, because I was that broke ass kid that had no money whatsoever to put to this stuff. So, and I know how much it can help people, so I would much rather make the world happier than make money off of this stuff. So, I don't know, it's just some bitter people that have been burnt in the past, I bet, and they don't like the fact that we're doing the same things that other influencers are doing. You know, just selling stuff on the side. What's up with Hink? Hink is taking a step back from r/getting bigger for the foreseeable future due to negativity and trolls, and he has a very busy life. He does not need that energy in his life. So, you're caught up. Right now we are brainstorming ways to make getting bigger better. Christopher Matthews, I don't post at all on Getting Bigger. I just read really the one time I posted a pic, it was picked apart. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why we need to try to figure out what the hell to do about that, right? Because I want this to be a good place to showcase penis enlargement for everyone. The community is in charge of what happens there, right? And some product pictures, some progress pictures are going to be bad, right? And the mods will go through and remove bad progress pictures. That's a very hard word to say right now. So if the mods aren't the ones removing your pictures, then they are good enough to count as progress, right? And that's going to be one of the things I'm going to actually talk to the mods about, is making it so if the mods think it's good, then what are we doing here, right? No real negativity should be applied. That is not just constructive criticism, you know. I respect Hink because he's trying to help men. Yeah, exactly. Hink is a saint. Hink is also human, and he does have some, you know, he does get frustrated like the rest of us. So, like, I completely get why he wants to take a step back from r/getting bigger. I even talked about it for a bit. I made a video about how I wanted to stop posting on r/getting bigger. And I did step back. I don't comment as much as I used to. All I really do now is make content. You know, I don't engage with people as much as I do. And quite frankly, it has helped my mental space a decent bit because I'm no longer fighting all the time. Hey BD, I'm new to PE and I have one question. Should I go for an ADS, or an Alex, probably Apex extender? If so, how long should I wear the extender? Getting bigger, it gets confusing for extender newbies. So there's high tension and low tension extenders. The Apex is a high tension extender designed to not need to be worn for more than an hour a day. That is going to be your best bang for your buck, in my opinion. You can still use it as a low tension extender, which you'd be wearing for 2 to 4 hours a day, but it is not going to be nearly as time effective or discreet, so you couldn't hide it as easily. Hulkster, with all the PE troll energy, the cold fusion, the amount of cold fusion that would be at your disposal. I mean, yeah, dude, I just don't get it anymore. Like, I'm a relatively negative guy, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm very pragmatic and kind of cold and calculating in general. But like, even the amount of negativity that I've been seeing has just been nuts lately. And like, again, I'm just trying to get a good grasp on why people are being like that, you know? Christopher Matthews, the amount of people at free time for the upset get upset over it. Wow, I butchered that. The amount of free advice you give and people still get upset about it. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, it goes back to the mental health thing, and like I've been looking more into psychology a bit just because I need to understand what I'm up against, and that way I can have a smidge of compassion for these trolls. And like I think a lot of guys actually have like a borderline personality disorder where they struggle to control their emotions. So like, especially on the internet where there's no repercussions whatsoever, you can say what the fuck you want, whatever comes off the top of your head, and try to hurt someone to make yourself feel better. If you don't have a good emotional regulation system, if you take anything as like a negative feedback or negative, you're just going to tear into someone for no reason. And that's like, you got to be wary of it. That's the kind of the hardest thing about being an influencer, is knowing when the criticism is valid. And that's why a lot of people kind of turn off or turn into like, you know, those really douchey influencers, right? And this just reminds me of the time during my honeymoon with my wife. We went to a luau in Maui, and there was this influencer there, and like, he was just making a scene. He was acting like he was the coolest guy ever and all this other shit. And like, apparently he thought I was like obsessed with him because I kept giving him the side eye. And like, I think it's comes down to the point where your brain actually gets so broken from being terminally online and terminally in the public eye that you just assume that everyone's out to get you and you get paranoid, right? And it was crazy because like I was like, what? But I kind of get that now, and that's what's scaring me, is that I can understand how someone can get crazy from the just the chronic exposure, if you will. Okay, David, they probably got so tired of those ads they see on P sites that they think the promotion of PE products are scamming. Well, let's think about this too. Bathmade's main marketing is influencer promotion, right? I have been asked multiple times to promote product. And like, it'd be easy money, right? Like, there's YouTube channels just dedicated to it. And the influencer that came after me and tried to dox me literally makes only money by selling ad spots on his YouTube channel. So like, it is a huge problem in this industry, but I just wish people would give us the chance before they made assumptions. Like, yeah, I do sell products, but like, if you look at who we're up against and what we're selling them for, we are beating them in price every time, which means that we are leaving potential money on the table. So again, we're not in it for the greed. We are in it to help you guys, and that's what it comes down to. Nebby, thank you for telling people to give this a like, but I don't think it's necessary for this video. You gotta give it a like to all my other content so I can spread the good word, but for this is more like just trying to talk to the community. Precision, what's up? Precision is my assistant. Precision is giving me money that I paid him back. I don't like that. Let's see. Where are we at? Alex, if you make it available to get it easier in the EU, I would buy your products. Same with the Frankencenter. And we're working on that. I'm hoping in the next 6 months we'll have a supplier or fulfillment center in Europe, but there's a lot more red tape. We gotta set up taxes in Europe, and we gotta find a person that we can trust enough overseas, and that's the biggest hurdle. But we'll get there. Just give us time. And another issue is that we can't stay in stock for the life of us, and that's a good problem to have. But like, since we don't take outside investment, and that's what Hink was talking about, is that he put so much money down on Leviathan Wellness, and he's yet to see a penny back. And since we're trying to keep it, homegrown, it's annoying because people don't like understand the full story, because we don't want to seem like money hungry and talking about buy our product, but at the same time, Hink's in the hole a decent bit for a normal person, at least not on a doctor's salary, but Java, is interval pumping still the best routine? For girth, it should be interval pumping should be part of every single routine. Period. It's the best thing for expansion in my opinion, but it needs to be worked with other exercises and such to like maximize it. Alex, how do I do the accordion stretch if I have foreskin? If you can only pull the head, then I tried with the other hand in the opposite direction. My foreskin just slides when I start pulling it. Normally with manual stretches in general, you have two options. You can roll your foreskin all the way down, grip the shaft itself, or you can pull the foreskin as tight as possible and then grip right at the foreskins just so there's no sliding. It will be a little bit difficult to do these pulse stretches with foreskin. What I've been doing lately, though, is that I literally have just been doing static stretches, just semi-erect, to cut down the complexity of it. Alex, again, why do you guys care so much about the negativity when you know you have loyal followers? Well, there's two reasons. One, it's very easy to fall into the trap that people are out to get you, right? And like, trust me, like, I know that 99% of the subreddit likes me, or at least tolerates me. But like, if there's 1,000 people that are watching you try to fail, you get a little paranoid. And then when it comes to this negativity stuff, if we're trying to build a healthy community based off of men's body image issues, the last thing we want is people berating other people for how their body looks or how they're gauging their own metrics of success. So like, if someone's shitting on someone's measurements right away, as soon as they post, they're never going to post again, right? My question is, though, should you get the Apex extender? I have all these other machines, such as the pump and hanger, but at the moment I'm not circumcised. I'm afraid to buy the Apex. Would that contribute to? I'm assuming you mean might make your foreskin even more, like you just have more foreskin afterwards. You can use the Apex with any hanger, so it will make gains easier. It's basically hanging replacement. And okay, we're gonna try to cut back a bit on the PE questions, guys. Also, are pump sleeves like the Lee Love Magic Pussy sleeves better than not using any sleeve? The only reason why you want to use a sleeve is if you constantly have your fat pad pulled in. Otherwise, they can cut off blood flow. So it really depends. I tend to not use a sleeve mainly for comfort reasons. Reddit is full of entitled people. I can see why he's quitting. Yeah, but the entire internet is filled with entitled people. It's just, I think YouTube has a good algorithm of hiding them now. But like Twitter, for example, worst place to be in general anymore, right? Because it's just full of people that think their opinion matters more than other people's, and they'll buy a blue check mark to say that their opinion matters more. Precision. So how do you have like 2 or 3 computers? How do you keep changing spots? Well, Precision, this camera can move, see? So that's one way. But no, I actually do have like 2 or 3 computers. I have a gaming laptop, my main workstation here, and then I have like an actual work laptop. But I only really use my workstation for penis enlargement stuff. Also, Precision, I don't think you realize, like, I have two cameras that both cost like $800 each. So like, I just move around with them. They're not just webcams. Let's see, Hulkster. 99% of our subreddit has OCD. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, our subreddit probably has a higher rate of mental health issues than typical, just because it's such a personal and potentially traumatizing experience that we're dealing with, and that's size insecurity. So like, that's why I'm relatively compassionate to people that are skeptical and people that are bitching about how it sucks to be small and stuff like that. But like, when it comes to tearing down other people, we need to figure out a better way to go about it. Why don't you get strict mods and start banning all the haters? Well, Alex, that's the difficult part, because if I banned every single hater, they would have their own community that is constantly trying to spread disinformation about r/ getting bigger. And that kind of happened with A Joke For You last year, when I was banning people for giving me shit all the time. Is that they all went to A Joke For You, and then a bunch of hit pieces went out on A Joke For You about me. And that's kind of why I have such a tumultuous relationship with the founder of A Joke For You, because he kind of just let that happen. But that's besides the point. What I'm saying is that if we just ban everyone that was an asshole, they would just find another way to traumatize us, because that banning, they take it as a great offense. Like, you don't know what our bot mail's like. We get people that will call us like faggots and all kinds of things because we didn't agree with them on their really unhinged take about women, for example. And we will hear from them for days on end sometimes. And that's what I mean, is like, if we ban all those assholes, they'll start banding together to try to fuck with us even more in some other way. Someone by entitled. I mean, they expect super fast information and images without understanding how tedious it is to actually get it out. It's always the people who have never posted on their own. And I also don't think they realize that I used my Reddit for like kind of like public publication of my experimentation. So my YouTube is going to be much more streamlined and like easier to follow, because it's easy. I have to plan my videos out. With a post, I can just say whatever the hell I feel like and what I'm thinking at that exact moment. So yeah, there's that issue, but like, there is just entitled people. Like, they just want it now, and that kind of comes down to like what social media has done to us. We all think that we deserve it immediately. Same with Amazon Prime and everything else. It's not go Jover. Do they make burner accounts to troll? Yes. There was one point where I had someone that hated me so much. Every week they'd make a new burner account and wait the 2 days, because we have like a age limit on our account on the subreddit to limit trolls. So like, we've already taken steps to limit trolls. But they would wait the time, they'd have a bunch of accounts set up, and then they would come and attack me one by one. And like, I knew exactly who it was. They typed the same way every time. But there are just crazy ass people out there, and that's why this is kind of my advice to Hink right now, is that he needs to learn to like detach from the Reddit a bit, and being an internet personality. It's not like he actually like identifies as one, but he does put a lot of pride in his work. I do too. But you need to have like a healthy distance from it. Once it goes out, you shouldn't really care what happens. Back when I used to post, someone would be dripping sweat out of... I would be dripping sweat out of my armpits from what people would say about me and nitpick. So, I'm pretty sure I know who someone is. He has a just massive Johnson, alright? And because he is so big, and because he is trying to get bigger, he would receive so much hate because of it. And like, it wasn't even warranted. Like, I've seen his pictures. He's just a gigantic... he's very well endowed. And it's not like his progress pictures were bad, but these people would like be fetishizing him, bitching at him for like, why the hell would you want to get bigger and all other stuff, and like, oh, it's obviously photoshopped, even though like, you know, he was just trying to do his thing. It's not like he was trying to like stroke his own ego, because if he really wanted to stroke his own ego, he would start an OnlyFans and make a shit ton of money off of it. So like, you know, it's, people just suck sometimes. It's all what I'm trying to get at. Are there any planned updates for your books? I don't frequent Reddit, so I don't know the latest novelty in the PE community. So there are going to be updates right now. What I'm testing, you can check out the latest video, the Golden Path, about what exactly I'm doing. If that works out, and it seems like it's working quite well, it will be in the books. But right now, I'm working on my own video course, which is taking a bit more priority over the books itself, just because it is so much more work. I can knock out a book in about 40 hours. This course is going to take me at least 120 to 200 hours of planning, typing, filming, editing, you know. But, you know, it's going to have a bigger market value if we're talking about this from a business sense. And again, I'm only doing it because there is a demand for it. A lot of people don't like having to scroll through Reddit and everything. So, like, if I can cater to that 1 to 5% of people and produce even better content from that profits, you know, it's worth it to me. Robert, in my honest opinion, it'd be great for y'all to cover erection quality, much more mainstream, and complement PE. So, Robert, I did do a video on erection quality, and it could just because I used a shit thumbnail, but it didn't do that well. But I can work on that. I right now I'm just trying to work on getting a bunch of ideas, so let me write that down. Sorry, guys, it's my organization skills aren't that bad, aren't that great if you haven't noticed. Okay, it's in. Oh, lost the tab. Okay, where are we? I should comment more. I just find it easier to engage on YouTube with Hink's and yours videos, and that's fine. It's more or less talking about the other lurkers on the Reddit that just watch and don't say anything. And like, again, for me, it's more of a pragmatic thing. It's like, okay, what the fuck do you guys want from me? Like, what do you want me to cover? For Hink, it's more like, I'm getting shit for no goddamn reason right now. What the hell is going on? So like, it's just annoying. Would you be willing to talk more about your software development career? Did you have a degree, or are you self-taught? Is it still possible to become self-taught? Okay. Um, I can talk about this more on my vlog, but I'll go over it now. I went to IUP here in Pennsylvania. It's a state school. I got my degree in computer science with a minor in business. I was not particularly good. I had a 2.8 GPA, but because I am very good at interviews and very good at talking to people for whatever reason, I landed at a Fortune 250 company. I did have a degree. I did learn a lot on my own, and that's why it was such a useful, or that's why I was like such a good candidate, I guess, is just because I had the ability to learn on the fly. The problem is about a year and a half in, I realized I hated the corporate world, and then this started picking up, and this became my life more than that. As for being a software developer self-taught, you are much better off doing a bunch of boot camps to just have some kind of credibility to go along with it. So like, you can teach yourself all you want for software development, but you're going to need some kind of portfolio, and you're going to need some kind of accreditation. It doesn't have to be a 4-year school. It can be a whole bunch of different ways to get that accreditation, but companies care about that accreditation. Another issue right now with software development is that it is a super oversaturated field, because everyone was told to go into STEM 5 to 10 years ago, and now the money for STEM is drying up. So like, we're having a bunch of mid-level and entry-level people competing for the same positions. The mid-level people are going to get it more often than the entry-level people. So it's a tough time to be a software developer. All right, guys. If we have no more questions or comments about r slash getting bigger. I need to go lift because it's date night and I need to be ready by like 5 p.m. So I'm going to end this soon if we don't get any more questions about r slash getting bigger and how to improve it, or comments rather. Someone, time to start an OnlyFans. Like, dude, I was making, I'm making about $300 a month on OnlyFans, and like, I barely post. Like, I haven't posted on it in 8 months. So like, with you, if you put just a little bit of effort into posting and like building a bit of a following, you can make a lot of money pretty quickly. The hardest part about OnlyFans is that you kind of have to sell the virtual girlfriend experience. So, like, answering the DMs and being seductive, I can't do that for shit. But, you know, if you can figure that out, that's where the real money is. Zephyr, don't you think you're overcompensating? I'm assuming you meant overcomplicating in your routine. I see the more simple, stupid, or I see the more keep it simple, stupid routines, better results because I can be 100% consistent. Well, I'm not. So for me, it's more like I'm trying to prove certain things. So like, tunica malleability is going to make it easier to stretch. I'm going to stretch this amount. I'm going to stretch it this frequency because that's what the research shows. And then I'm going to pump this much because that's what the research shows. So to me, it's more like proving the science right rather than getting consistent gains. And like, I don't expect everyone to be able to do it how I do it. But like, if you take 10 minutes to warm up before your workouts in the gym, you're going to have significantly better performance. Why would penis enlargement be any different? All right, a lot of stuff came in. Okay. In short, can you tell me, please, weight progression protocols for the hanger that can you recommend? I don't really actually recommend weight progressions once you get about the 10 pounds. Eke it out as much as possible. My thoughts on the Phoenix device is really stupid unless you have basically erectile dysfunction based off of penile atrophy from diabetes is the only way to describe it because it like breaks up calcium deposits and that kind of stuff in the corpus cavernosum itself. It does not help at all for gains. Thoughts on length pumping? Really stupid. Don't do it, to be honest. Like, it just hurts, in my opinion. Sorry, my camera has a little cord that's blocking the chat. That's why I'm like ducking. Do hangers beat extenders? No, not. I mean, hangers beat low tension extenders, and then high tension extenders are on par, or if not better, than hanging. Why would Hink quit Reddit? Because Hink does not like the anxiety he gets from the negativity on Reddit, is the best way to put it. Okay, guys, I'm about to lose my voice. I don't know how long this went for, so we're almost on 50 minutes. Yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Yeah, this is just a weird day for me, so I will see you guys later, I guess. Have a good one.